January 30th, 1882, Franklin Roosevelt grew up in a wealthy family and often traveled overseas with his parents. His privileged upbringing included meeting Grover Cleveland, our 22nd president, at the White House when he was 5. He was cousins with Theodore Roosevelt, and he grew up with private tutors, attended Harvard, where he was an average student, but went to Columbia Law School in 1904, passed the bar, and decided not to stay on to graduate. Roosevelt was admitted to the bar in 1907 and practiced law before running for the New York State Senate. In 1913, he was appointed Assistant Secretary of the Navy. He then ran for Vice President with James M. Cox in 1920 against Warren Harding. When defeated, he went back to practicing law and then was elected governor of New York from 1929 to 1933. And now I'd like to get into a game of hangman with you that you might be able to guess a famous quote given by our speaker, Franklin Roosevelt. And if you do know it, try not to give it away right away.
All right, Paul, your order.
Who's one?
Yes, beginning letter.
A.
A.
Good job, Paul.
E.
I.
All right, next letter. Anybody?
S. S.
S.
Okay, you call that one.
No S.
No,
N. N.
N.
Andrew.
All right, next one.
W.
W.
Z.
Z. Definitely. Next letter.
H.
F.
F. All right. Anyone got an idea?
Q.
L. L. I'm thinking.
Sorry, the show.
V.
No one wants to guess yet?
S.
V.
Y.
N.
Y. C.
C. Are you serious?
Any other guesses?
Everybody just wants more sucker, that's it.
E.
C.
Wait, there was a C. C and the H.
There you go.
Okay, well, this was a famous quote given by our speaker, and I'll let Michael continue on with the history on this.
All right. Well, the date was December 7th, 1941. The Japanese raid on Pearl Harbor is one of the great defining moments in history. By 1618, an attack was underway toward our Fort Island Naval Air Station in Pearl Harbor. At the time, the first bomb was dropped. 14 patrol aircrafts in the air, 7 were on search for Midway, and 58 ready for flight in 4 hours or less. 9 of our planes were going under repairs. One single carefully planned and well-executed stroke removed the United States naval battleship force as a possible threat to the Japanese empire expansion southward, Japan. America, unprepared and now considerably weakened, was abruptly brought into the Second World War into full combat. U.S. fleet Pearl Harbor was reachable by an aircraft carrier force, and the Japanese Navy secretly sent one across the Pacific with greater aerial striking power than had ever been seen in the world's oceans. It hit just before 8 a.m. on December 7th. Within a short time, 5 of 8 battleships at Pearl Harbor were sunk. and with the rest damaged. Several other ships and most Hawaii-based combat planes were also knocked out, and over 2,400 Americans were dead. Soon after, Japanese planes eliminated much of the American Air Force in the Philippines, and the Japanese Army was ashore in Malaya. Before these attacks, however, by late 1941, with peace negotiations clearly approaching an end, informed U.S. officials fully expected the Japanese attack into the Indies, Malaya, and probably the Philippines. They were completely anticipating an attack in the U.S. And
The following day, on December 8, 1941, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt addressed the Congress about the Pearl Harbor attacks. He ensured that this country would be at war now because of the attacks. In his speech, stated on December 7, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, the United States of America suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. Some of the speech concepts that Roosevelt uses in his address are the terms Aristotle claims as logos, pathos, and ethos. The term logo means to appeal the reason and logic. It is used when in a critical situation. When the audience needs to make an important decision or reach a conclusion regarding a complicated issue. The term pathos means to be truly persuasive. However, you must also convince your listeners to care about your argument as well as appeal to their emotion. They need to feel like they have pride in what they are doing, love, anger, and shame as well. The term ethos means the audience wants more than information. They want to see the arguments that you're going to claim for them. Somebody who cares a lot about that situation.
And so, in conclusion, we chose our speaker because of his absolute willingness to succeed in anything he pursues. Roosevelt's overall confidence he portrayed even during his toughest times showed our country that anything can and will be done. And some of his great accomplishments were things like the 21st Amendment, which was the repeal of Prohibition, the Social Security Act, and creating the New Deal policies, all of which we still use today.